This is a Zonophone built by the Universal Talking Machine Company, and I don't know exactly what model it is, but I know quite a bit about it just by looking at it. So let me tell you what I think. Well, Zonophone from around 1900, 1904 was a separate company, and then around that period they were bought out by Eldridge Johnson, who owned the Victor Talking Machine Company. Blah, 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 blah. You heard this in all the other Zonophone videos, I know, and I hate repeating it. But at that point, Eldridge Johnson's influence on Zonophone became evident in the design of the machines. This one has a tapered tone arm and a reproducer that's very much like a Victor exhibition reproducer. So that would put it in the period after around 1905. It's a back bracket model, not a front mount machine. So that also tells me that it's from that period. There's other elements too. The Zonophones, one of the things I really liked about them was the metal bed plate they had here. Some of them had really great designs on them. They're really quite interesting. But this was sort of like Victor's budget line of machines. So they simplified them a lot. This one has just a wood top and the motor is mounted underneath, sort of like a Victor. So they simplified it. This was their budget line. So eventually it was phased out completely and this company, the Universal Talking Machine Company, disappeared. So I'm going to bring you in to look at this machine, and if anybody knows exactly what model this is, please put it in the comments. My guess is it's similar to a model that they were making before as a front mount machine, and then this is the second version, the back mount machine. But it might have been one that they introduced as a back mount machine, redesigned and new. So let me bring you in to see. Now this machine I don't have the right crank for because there are several different designs of cranks for Zonophone. The original cranks for the early machines looked like this, really pretty. Now this one's I believe a replica. And I don't know if you can see in there's a little bar across there. So the inside of the machine, the shaft of the spring, would have actually been like this. Now this is a crank for a Victor style of machine. And you can see this would go onto a pin, onto a shaft that had a pin through it so that this would crank it. Zonophone was really the opposite of that. This is what the pin or the shaft on the spring would have been like, and then this would have had a pin that fit in there. This machine has the same sort of thing, but the diameter of this is much smaller. So it's a crank that I don't have. Not an early one, not a late one. It's kind of in between. Here's the machine itself. There's the Zonophone decal. There's their beautiful Universal Talking Machine decal. And I've got this covered with a record because the felt has been changed and the look of the new felt is a little jarring. There's their back mount, like the other back mounts in the line. Got this neat little swivel thing here. There's the reproducer. Let's take a look from the other side. Here's the other side with the missing crank, my speed control. There's the back bracket. There's the reproducer, just like a Victor exhibition, but Zonophone. This machine has an interesting feature. A lot of the Victors have a hinged top so you can access the motor, but this machine on the bottom has a hinged bottom. So you can open this and see the motor. It's not a very big motor. And we did this because we were looking for the serial number, and usually it's on the top, but there it is, right on the motor. Because they had nowhere to stamp it on the bed plate on the top because there is no bed plate. Very interesting. So in order to play this machine, I'm going to have to locate the proper crank and the proper brake that's missing off this one. Still, for a compact sized machine, it's pretty interesting looking.